Chuck and Tammy Snyder. How about a big round of applause for parents of the groom, Chuck and Tamara Smith. And introducing Patrick and Patty Milia. And our wedding party beginning with the bridesmaids and groomsmen, Emily Wynn and Chaz Snyder.
I thought love was only true in fairy tales, and for someone else, but not for me.
Let's hear it for Katie Peterson and Kevin Keegan.
That's the way it seemed. Disappointment haunted all my dreams. Then I saw her face.
Introducing the maid of honor and best man, Kristina Martinelli and Dustin Gorman.
I've been alone. I'm a believer. I couldn't leave her if I tried.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's please stand up.
When I wake up.
And now the moment you have all been waiting for. Introducing Mr. and Mrs. Grant and Kristina Milia.
Along with you. If I get drunk, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who gets drunk next to you. And if I heaver, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's heavering to you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. When I'm working, yes, I know I'm gonna be the man who's working hard for you. When the money.
Ladies and gentlemen, Grant and Kristina will now have their first dance together as husband and wife.
Sitting with you in a dark room, warmed by a fireplace. You know there's just something about you, you brighten my day. I got something to run past you. I just hope I say it right. So I take your hand and ask you, have you made plans for the rest of your life? There's one thing I should be killing off and giving up now, and that's worrying about life. Oh, I'll be fine. If one gray hair shows, I'll be fine. If my waistline goes, I'll be fine. Even if time takes its toll, we'll stay young for the rest of our lives.
I've been making plans for children since I've been looking in your eyes. I even have names picked out for them. Daughter, be Rose. Son, it be Ryan.
There's one thing I should be killing off and giving up now, and that's worrying about life. Oh, I'll be fine.
Grant and Kristina Melia. Everyone, please direct your attention toward the wedding party table. We will now have the traditional toasts performed first by Dustin Gorman, Best Man, and Maid of Honor, Kristina Martinelli.
Does this work? Oh. Does it work now? There we go. So, first I want to, on behalf of both Kristina and Grant, welcome everyone for making it here, and also those of you at home watching who couldn't. We thank you so much for being here. I want to take a moment today and talk about the first time I met Grant. We were having a party, and it happened to be a Top Gun party. And the ironic part about it is on that day, this Californian who's skinny, wanting to play beer pong with this Montanan, turned out to be the best wingman I could have ever asked for. If you guys don't know Grant well, he's the kind of guy that if you need help, he's there. He'll always help his friends, his family, and his community. He'll move out of a dorm room and give away everything in it just to move into the next one and be like, I could use some furniture. But there was one day, I don't know, about 2 years ago, I noticed something had changed. He wasn't himself, and I felt it was my duty to kind of go and see him. So I made a trip all the way out to see him in Tacoma. And I got there and I realized he had changed. He had given away something he didn't ever give away before. He had given away his heart. But I was wrong. He didn't just selflessly give it away. He got one in exchange. And it was that moment that I knew that they were going to be together forever. And with that, actually, I'd like to toast to Grant and Kristina. May your exchange be eternal. Cheers. And now, Kristina will have hers.
I'm so happy that all of you guys were able to make it here today through all of the things going on. I think I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of you, but for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kristina. Kristina's best friend from childhood. I'm honored to be standing up here as our maid of honor today. And similarly to Dustin, I will always remember my first time meeting Grant. After listening to Kristina talk about the new guy in her life for months, I finally got to meet him on a group trip in Vegas. So we were all hanging out by the pool, and Grant came over and gave me a big hug, and he said, I know I love you already because you're so important to Kristina. And then we proceeded to dance in the pool like we had known each other for 20 years. And it was then that I knew how much he valued her happiness and just valued everything about her being. So I even liked Grant so much that I looked past the fact that he left his rubber ducky boxers on our hotel room floor after a day of drinking, never to be returned. So even though I liked Grant, I had to make sure that my best friend was choosing the right partner. This part took careful observation and time. I slowly began to see all the ways that Grant was perfect for Kristina. He always helped her remain calm. He was always a shoulder for her, never judged her, and remained a constant through everything in her life. Not to mention, he makes a killer cocktail most days after work for her. And I can vouch from personal experience that Grant makes a killer drink. I did have my doubts at first, until I really got to know him, as any protective best friend would. But it didn't take long for those doubts to subside and for me to know that my doubts were wrong, which is not something that's easy for an Italian female Scorpio to admit. Kristina entered my world when we met in dance class years ago, which on a side note, we were both embarrassingly bad at, and hopefully tonight you guys can get a preview of that. By some glorious twist of fate, this ended up being one of the best things that has happened in my days. I don't remember how many years ago this was exactly, because to be honest, I don't remember a time when Kristina hasn't been there for me. We have lived a lot of life together, from our encouraging pep talks to our binge-watching evenings of Sex and the City, from our childhood home videos to our girls' trip to Mexico. Kristina is the Miranda to my Carrie, and my constant reminder that it isn't what you have, but who you have. As we walk through this crazy thing called life, she is the girl that I can count on to pick me up off of every bathroom floor that I've ever laid on, and to believe in me when I'm struggling to believe in myself. She's always been there to celebrate my greatest highs alongside me and to tell me when I'm being slightly ridiculous, which doesn't really happen all that often. It's a rare thing in life to find someone who is truly happy for your happiness and sad for your sadness. And when that happens, all friendship barriers are broken and you become family. Grant, you are proof that good things come to those who wait. And I know that you're going to give my girl the life that she deserves. I welcome you with open arms to our bonus family. So I think this is where I'm supposed to give you some totally rad advice on how to have an awesome marriage. Well, Lord knows that I don't know, hence the maid. But if I was going to give you some advice, I would say to never stop communicating with each other and never stop working to fill each other's needs. Always remember this day right now, surrounded by your friends and family, and how much you love each other in this moment. I will always be on Team Kristina and Grant through the good and the bad, and I can't wait to see the life that you two build together. Grant, I promise to remind Kristina why she picked you when she loses sight or when she gets slightly annoyed by your gaming. Kristina, I promise to always, always be by your side as you've always been by mine through everything, and also to help Grant pick out nice gifts for you. It is a very humbling thing when someone to the likes of this woman asks you to stand next to her on one of the most important days of her life. So it's with great honor that I raise my glass to the broken road, to these two, and to true love. Salute.
And we'll now have a toast from groomsman Chaz Snyder.
Hello? Okay. So I'll get this out of the way. I'm Chaz's sister. No, hang on. I'm Kristina's sister. I'm Kristina's brother, Chaz. I'll keep this kind of short. I wanted to take a minute to gush about my sister for a minute. She's really accomplished, and really every chance I get in a professional environment or among my friends, I always gush about her because she's always been she's naturally gifted, but she's a really hard worker too, and I admire the way that you put yourself through six-year program of pharmacy. You impress people in the National Health Service, you worked your way up, you have your name on the door, you have people under you. Maybe a few years from now you'll be, in the top seat in the Attorney General's office. I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me. So you might be my little sister, but I still look up to you in a lot of ways. to Grant, you know, we haven't had a lot of time to bond with each other, but a little bit over time. I'm happy to say that you passed my test of might the other day. We got to work out together. We played a little bit of video games, so we have that in common as well. But more importantly, Kristina, everything you said in your speech during the ceremony is entirely accurate from my point of view. You know, you guys are each other's rock, and I see it in interactions between the two of you. And when I'm off to the side, maybe it looks like I'm not paying attention. Last night in particular, just, you know, you two had a little moment where you looked at each other and make sure you two were good, and you kissed one another. And, you know, I think that's a sign that moving forward, you guys are going to last and you're going to be happy together. And, you know, I wish you both luck.
Finally, a blessing will be performed by Dr. Terry Moser.
I would ask you to hold the hand of someone that you love at your table. Let's pray. God of love, who makes all relationships holy, we thank you for your presence in the lives of Grant and Kristina, the enthusiasm that they bring to us today, and the love that will last forever. Amen.
Why do I do just as you say? Why must I just give you your way? Why do I sigh? Why don't I try to forget? It must have been that something lovers call fate kept me saying I had to wait. I saw them all, just couldn't fall till we met. It had to be you. It had to be you. I wandered around and I finally found the somebody who make me be true and could make me be blue and even be glad just to be sad thinking of you. Some others I've seen might never be mean, might never be cross or try to be boss, but they wouldn't do. For nobody else gave me a thrill. With all your faults, I love you still. It had to be wonderful you. It had to be you. had to be you. Wonderful you. It had to be you.
L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore can love, is all that I can give to you. Love is more than just a game for two. Two in love can make it. Take my heart and please don't break it. Love was made for me and